Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Spiritual Journey podcast. My name is Nimesh Radia, and I'm your host. I always love starting every episode by saying thank you. I feel so blessed with this podcast and the impact and that it has. My intention when I started was really to simplify spirituality and to guide people on their journey. I really do feel like we're going through so many transitions and happening so quickly. And the messages I get with this podcast, that it reaches people when they need it most. And I feel so grateful, so blessed. So thank you. If you're a regular listener, thank you for your support, your love. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Glad to have you here. If you have any feedback, let us know. I am an Akashic record reader, Akashic trainer, podcast host, podcast creator, as well as a spiritual coach and mentor. What I get to do is I get to guide people on their journey. I get to hold your space while you realize the power of who you are, the strength of your soul, the strength of your heart, releasing all the layers to truly shine your core light. And I love what I get to do. I get to see those moments when the energy and the vibration of you changes. So if my voice resonates, if you feel like I can guide you, reach out. I do that through the beautiful mentorship program I have. Over 12 weeks, I hold your space. I guide you to you. Also through Akashic Records, through this podcast. There's so many different ways. If my voice resonates, maybe we have a soul contract. Reach out. And the beautiful thing about this podcast is, as well as sharing my voice, I get to interview some amazing, amazing guests. And I say interview, really, it's a conversation. So I'm excited to have Sarah on the podcast today. Thank you, Sarah, for agreeing to be here. I feel so blessed to have you here. I'd love for you to introduce yourself. Over to you.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. And I love that you start with thank you. So I also want to thank you, Nimesh, for having me here. And thank you to all the listeners for listening and for supporting Nimesh so far along this journey that he can continue to do this and that we're able to meet and to do this. I'm just so honored and grateful to be here. So I am a mom. That's my highest calling, I think, a mom and a wife. But what I'm doing on here is we're talking about just the intuitive work I think that we do together. So I am a healer. I'm an intuitive. Turns out I'm a medium, whether I like it or not. And I am able to help people heal from past trauma. Sometimes, Nimesh, like we were talking about earlier, so quickly that I hear gasps on the other side of the phone. I get messages of miracles, and it's beautiful. I feel so honored to be the middle sometimes for people when they're not really sure where to connect to get back to themselves or to find the answers that they need.
So
And I'm recently an author, so I guess I forgot to say that part. I'm also a podcaster, but yeah, I just published my first book as well. So a lot of fun stuff.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I'm excited to be on your podcast too. So look out for that soon. So the first question I always love to ask is, for me, as we were talking about before we started recording, that cycles are closing so quick. This energy right now is so intense, and I feel in many ways blessed to be here, but also I feel the drain of kind of whatever the planet's going through. And so we were talking about before, so many friends, so many clients going through so many massive shifts. And I love I get to guide people. I love I get to hold people's space, but it feels really, really intense at the moment. It feels like everybody's going through something, some sort of shift, some sort of upgrade. And I don't know if I'd say it's a bad time. I mean, I feel sorry for the planet, because I feel like the planet, and I get asked this question all the time, but I feel like the planet over the next 12 months is going to go through so much. And but at the same time, I feel like it's needed. I feel like if we're going to shift to divine, from divine masculine to divine feminine, ascend, third dimension, fifth dimension, whatever human phrase you want to give it, the planet has to go through a shift.
Yeah.
Does it have to be as painful? I have that conversation with Source, with my guys all the time, but who am I to say yes or no, right? But what are you seeing in the work that you do and what you're feeling vibrationally? I know we talked a little bit about it before we started, but I'd love for you to share. What are you feeling? What are you seeing on the planet?
So I'm feeling a lot of the same things that you are. It's interesting because I think people maybe who don't see and feel the things that you and I do, think, "Oh, I wish I could." And sometimes I think you and I mean, I shouldn't throw you under the bus, but sometimes it's like But sometimes it's kind of heavy to see and feel all the things we do. And also, what an honor. Am I seeing this every single day with my clients, the things that they go to? And it's cool. And I'm curious if you feel the same way, that I am, the people who need me are getting drawn to me so quickly. And then we're able to move through things so quickly. It's almost like their body and their soul are running as fast as they can to, oh my gosh, I found this thing. Let me clear out. And so I think, yeah, I think that the earth is going through a lot as well. And I think it's beautiful. And maybe you know this, but there are plants that only grow after there has been a fire. And I feel like that could be part of what's happening to our world right now, is that there's this air quotes cleansing fire happening. At some places, very literal, there's no air quotes needed.
Yeah.
And in other places, it's more of a spiritual fire making way for something so much better. And of course, it's a bit painful. I think change often is.
Yeah, I mean, change is such an interesting concept, right? Everyone says, "Oh, I love change. I love change." Do you really? I mean, I feel like we love change when we see it coming, when we kind
And
of
when
have
it's the way
an
that we want, right?
yeah, and we have an idea of what it is, right? But when we don't know
Yeah.
what the change is going to be, I'm very conscious. Like when I say, for example, the planet's going through a shift and so much pain in the next 12 months, what does that mean? Everyone's like, "What is it? What do you really mean?" And it's like, yeah, I mean, um, a lot more craziness with politics, a lot more natural disasters. You're talking about fire, a lot more things that we didn't expect, a lot more
Mhm.
breaking down of ego, right? Because we
Yeah.
shifted from masculine is very much about the ego, very much about putting people on a pedestal. And I feel like all of that's going to come down. I feel like we're in the age of the community where
Mhm.
everything's about co-creation,
Yeah.
like many, many centuries ago. It's all about, this spiritual journey for a long time has felt very lonely for a lot of people. And I feel like the phase we're moving into is more about asking for help and that being a strength, not needing to do anything on your own. And you asked about clients, and I feel like anyone that reaches out, I have a soul contract with, that we were meant to work together. And just like when we start working together, it feels like it's really quick. It feels like
Mhm.
changes and shifts happen. But actually, what I feel is anyone that works with me has done some of the pre work. You may not realize it,
Yeah.
but it's done the preparation. There's things that have
Mhm.
happened in your past that have led you to who you are today, and you're ready for a massive shift, and it feels really quick. But
Absolutely.
actually, you've done so. Your soul has done with so much work, and it's such a beautiful journey you take people on. But it does feel like things are happening rapidly, and the thing we have to remember as mentors, healers, guides is sometimes we need to feel things more intensely. How are we meant to guide others unless we've gone through it? And so,
Yeah.
definitely
Darn
an
it.
interesting time. You talked about awareness, and I agree. I mean, sometimes I do wonder. It's like if I could close that door on awareness, and sometimes they say ignorance is bliss. Would life be easier? Maybe,
Yeah.
um, but I don't really wish that.
Yeah, I know. I don't either. I
And
think
it's
I've said
just
that. Immediately I take it back. No, please.
no,
I'm honored
but there
for
is
it.
times. There is
Yeah.
times. It's especially when I feel pain. When I actually, a lot about mentoring is holding people's spaces and
Yeah.
watching them go through pain and not jumping in, letting them and guiding them through it. But it's like sometimes I wondered, do we need to go through this much pain?
Yeah.
But then I remind myself that look, as souls, we've chosen to be here at this time, which is such an expansive time, that our souls can take it.
Yeah.
So
I
I guess
agree.
for the listeners, if you're going through something, um, I sending you so much love and light, and at the same time, you know, realize that your soul can take it, and realize that the universe, your guides are not going to give you anything you can handle. This may be a challenging time for you, but also remember it's a phase.
Yeah.
I always love to remind people that whatever you're going through, it's a phase.
Yeah.
Things are going great, and you're riding waves. It's a phase. I'm not saying it's going to end,
It's a phase.
but it's at the same time, if you're going through something painful, it's a phase. But you have to sit with it and say, well, hold on. Have I learned everything I need to from this phase? Have I integrated the lessons? Because pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. Sometimes we stay in a painful situation and that's when it becomes suffering. So I feel like as guides, or what our role is to shine our light, to be that example, and to allow people to, and give people an example of how they could be. Not to fix them, not to push them to change. Who are we to do that? But so I went off at a tangent. You had so much information you shared in your share. But how's your journey been? I'd love for you to know. I'd love to know more about your journey, how you connect with your guides, how you feel supported. Anything you want to share in your heart?
Yeah, I will share that. I'm interested though, if I could go back on something that you said. You said um, more, you said the word more a lot. And I thought that was really fascinating because I think that there's more of all of it. With the world suffering, there's more suffering. And also, isn't there more light and more healing and more availability for us to rise above it? So I just think the more is in everything. So I love that. And I also love that you said pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional, that we can get out of that. And I think that sometimes we feel, I don't know, we trick ourselves into thinking, well, now there's this pain. I guess this is where I am now. I live here now.
Yeah,
It's
but
not
it's
how
also
it has to
safe.
be. Yeah.
It's
Right.
also
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
It's
That
what we
whole
use.
myth of I like to change,
Yeah,
no, I want to stay where I am because I
and
know it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the beautiful example is relationships. Sometimes we stay in a relationship, even though no, we've learned, and it's like, why do we do that? It's because we remember what it is. We look at things with rose-tinted glasses, and we hope
Yeah.
that it's going to turn into what we expected it to be. It's our expectations. But what if
Absolutely.
we're stopping ourselves from allowing amazing things to come into our world by holding on to what's finished?
Absolutely. I think we do that a lot. We want what's next while holding on to what was behind us, and we have a death grip behind us, and we're reaching as hard
Yeah,
as we can, and we got to just let go to
yeah.
move. I
And it's a
agree.
trustful, right? It's a trustful. It is. We're being asked to take so many leaps of faith in such a short, and it is scary.
Yeah, it is.
But it's acknowledge the fear, acknowledge the being scared. Because what's
Absolutely.
courage is being scared and doing it anyway.
Yeah, you said courage. I love that you said that because I think there's a false belief that it takes confidence to do things, and that's not. Confidence comes later. Confidence comes
Yeah,
after you've done the thing, and you're like, oh, I'm still okay, or I made it through. But it's the courage, and the courage is what feels yucky. The
100%.
unknown, and am I going to make
But
it?
it's also the fear is serving you. The fear
Absolutely.
is keeping you safe, and it's not. But you have a
Hmm.
choice to do you allow that fear to stop you? But it's like being courageous is embracing that fear and doing it anyway.
Yeah,
And you
absolutely. We
talked
always
about
have a
light,
choice, don't we?
yeah,
We always have that choice.
yeah. You talked about more and light and dark, and it's really we need it all.
Yeah, we really
There's no,
do.
there's no light without dark. There's no dark without light. So we need it all. We need our ego. We need our spirit. It's helping us. It's holding us.
Yeah,
But it really is about balance.
it is. It's about figuring out how to make it all work together in the best way possible. And it's funny that you said balance. I'm a little ornery about balance because I like the idea of it, but I think that it's always a counterbalance. If I think of like a ballerina up on point, she appears to be in perfect balance, but really there's all these little different
Yeah,
things working. And I think that's what it is. It's all these little things working in us, are the things we've overcome, the things we're looking forward to, those that we're mentoring and helping, and just this whole ecosystem surrounding us that's helping us to get through things. And we're just always kind of tagging off on different
yeah,
things with this beautiful counterbalance of this web, right? Of where the
yeah.
tension
And
is.
it is complicated because we're releasing ancestral karma, personal karma, what the
Right.
soul wants to expand, the soul contracts we have. There's a lot.
There's a lot going on.
And we bring a lot into this lifetime. So it is a lot,
We really do.
And actually, you said something interesting about balance, and you said we got to figure it out. What if we don't have to figure anything out? What if we
Mhm.
need to just be? And what I mean by balance is we have four bodies: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And it's like
Yes.
we've got to nurture all four. And what we've got to do is look after and have really strong self care
Yeah.
and let go of our expectations. And maybe that's meeting the universe halfway. Just,
Hmm.
just a thought.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think you and I we keep listening to the other one and being
Yeah,
like, wow, let's talk. I think
Yeah,
we could do this all day. You did ask me though how I felt things like, do you want to know when it started? Like what are you wanting to know?
whatever's in your heart that you feel will help our listeners in terms of
Okay.
your spiritual journey. You kind of what connected you to your guides. What have you been through that you feel may help?
Okay. So I was thinking about this the other day that I first remember seeing or feeling something in my room that wasn't technically there when I was 4. That was the first time that I had some sort of visitor. I don't know who or what because I was too little and the words and the memories don't quite work yet. But I remember feeling something beyond me. And all throughout my life, I've seen things out of the corner of my eye. I wonder if you do that too. And I look and there isn't a physical being. I look. And so I've learned, depending on which side of my body, where they are, how big or small they are, just to ask different questions. And I've learned really through kinesiology and muscle testing to be able to be even that much more sure. I feel a lot of things in my stomach as well as in my knees. And I say see, it sits probably right behind my third eye chakra in my forehead, but I can see things so clearly. And so I've always actually had this gift or these gifts because I'm learning more and more. It's not just one. It's, oh, yeah. And I know how to do that. Oh, I have this. And I've learned I was telling you before the podcast that I learned how to hold it all in essentially. And I was so proud of myself for describing to people that I felt like Augustus Gloop on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, getting shoved into that tube that moved up and down, that Father God could handle it and Mother Earth could handle it, and I could be contained. And I chose to do that after I had 6 or 7 people randomly seize around me because and I've learned since they were releasing, there were things in them that were getting out, which is beautiful, but it's scary when you don't understand. And so I thought I am too much is what I believed for a really long time. So if any listeners who think you're too much, I don't think you're too much. Nimesh doesn't think you're too much. You're a lot, and that's beautiful and wonderful. And reach out, we can help you. We've probably both
100%.
been there.
Right.
um, but since you and I spoke even I don't know if it was a month ago, a few weeks ago, and you reminded me that I have so much more to offer if I don't keep myself contained. And I decided to believe you. I decided that that was the truth. And even just since then, instead of saying it seems like or it feels like, I've said, this is what I see. This is what's happening. And it's been really freeing and liberating. Even today, I had a call and immediately it just went fast. And she goes, wow, let's just get into it. And I said, and I actually told her about you. I said, you said,
Nice.
why are you holding back? And I'm like, I don't know why I'm holding back. I don't want to do that anymore. She's like, this is amazing.
But isn't
So
that
watch
so
out if
beautiful?
you listen to
Yeah.
Nimesh, like your world's changing. I love it.
Yeah, I should come with a health warning sometimes. I get that. I mean, you just, because I know so my deal with the universe is I'm just going to show up. And I know that leads me to some beautiful conversations, being in some public places. And I don't always need to know why I'm there, but just vibrationally, I know I'm pulled. And it's just, so thank you for being so open to whatever came through that day. But that's such a beautiful example to our listeners that, sometimes we limit ourselves because I don't even know, actually. Just like when I'm trying to think of the logic of it, it is out of fear, it is out of safety, it is out of, you know, we know that if we show up fully, we have no excuses. And
That's a really good way to put it. Yeah.
I feel like we've been pushed right now to show up in all ways, and the universe is keeping us honest. And it's like when we don't show up, the universe has a great way of reminding us, especially now, that, we chose to be here, and, we have everybody's light is just as important as each other. No one is more important or less important. And, I'm sure there's people listening saying, well, he's not talking to me, he's talking to. And I always say, you know what, I am 100% talking to you. If you're thinking that we're talking about, or if you're feeling like, I always say feel rather than think. this is such an important time where you're being pushed to shine your light unconditionally and to stop hiding. And so many people will say, you know what? When this is over, then that's when I'll step up. You know what? We're coming into December. By the time I release this, it'll be December. It's December. We're kind of coming to the end of the year. When it's January, my January resolutions, that's when I'll start. We don't
Mm.
have that privilege anymore. We don't have that opportunity. It's like the only thing we control is this moment.
I love that you said that, and you said that earlier too, that you're very present. One of my favorite words is beingness. I learned this when I was in massage school 25 years ago, and I loved it. It was this idea that you are where you are. So right now, you and I are in this moment. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter what's happening in the other room, outside, we are right here. And I think one of the most beautiful things that happens with that is there isn't regrets because you're there, you're in it. You're not thinking about the future and about the past and missing what's happening right now. And so I love that you said present, and I think that's what happens when we live outside of it is we get kind of slammed
Yeah.
back into it, and we think, shoot, I missed this thing because I was thinking about a future or past that in all reality, it's just kind of all made up in our mind anyway, isn't it? So live
Yeah.
it now,
And the reality, how much control do we really have? I feel
right?
like control is an illusion. I mean, if you're honest with yourself and just stopped and look at the last few years, through lockdown, COVID, whatever you want to call it, and then through this last period of crazy, so many planets in retrograde and intense energy and whatever's happening politically, it's like if you looked in the mirror, if you had a conversation with yourself in the mirror and I really asked yourself, how much control have you had during this period? I feel like most of us will realize we had no control.
Yeah.
But you do control this moment.
Hmm.
If you can be present in this moment, feel the joy, the beauty, the love inside you, around you in this moment, then what if the next moment is magical?
Yeah.
And
And
then remember,
even feeling like maybe the pain in this moment, sometimes there is pain and it's okay to acknowledge that and then to acknowledge when there isn't the pain. So
yeah,
all of it is
we're just
beautiful.
all having a human experience. So yes, we're meant to experience pain.
Yeah,
But the reality is, how much do we grow with that pain?
absolutely. Absolutely. And I love too that you mentioned that it used to be lonely essentially as a healer, as an intuitive, as a witch, because I used to get burned at the stake. I used to be really, really
Yeah.
lonely, whatever the right word is. And now there's so much more community. The clients that I had when I started this journey versus the clients now and how freely and openly I'm able to speak to them. It is really neat, the opening of just the desire that people have to change and to feel this change in their souls is so beautiful. It's not as scary as it once was, I think, which is so neat.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, some people are going to be in different phases. Some people are still going to be in that fear phase, but it's like, some people are going to already found their community. Some people are still looking. But it's like, if you look at the past few years, so many conversations I have about, it's felt like nobody really understood me. It felt like I was really alone. I lost so
Yep.
many friends. It's like everybody's saying the same thing.
Mhm.
And there's clues there, right? But it's like, now I feel like we're really being pushed to look at our circle.
Yeah.
Because it's like when we've been through so much change, we've upgraded, we've shifted, we're different people.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So do we know this version of ourselves? And, in that, do we still have the people around us that supports us, that nurture us, that allow us to be? And I feel like for so many of us, soul contracts have come to an end. And we've got to look around at the people and ask, well, hold on, is my soul contract with this person done? And by the way, that includes blood family.
Mhm.
I talk a lot about, our blood family. We pick our blood family to expand us, to teach us, not always to love us. But this is where our soul family comes in. And it's weird because sometimes when I say that, I'm surrounded by a lot of love with my blood family too. And it's just, they don't necessarily understand the spiritual side of me, but I do feel love. So I feel very blessed with that. But at the same time, so many clients, so many people I work with have an expectation of their blood family. They should, oh, my mom should love me, my dad should love me, this, that.
Mhm.
Why? Who says that? Who made that rule up? It's our programming.
Yeah.
So, if you want to look for a community, then you have to create space for that community.
Hmm. Yeah. Absolutely. I very much believe that sometimes the family that we have is there to challenge us, actually, and
Hundred
to not be so easy. And I think we watch these Hallmark movies and think, oh, everybody should be arms around each other and roasting marshmallows. And there's moments of that, but for the most
Oh,
part, we encourage each other to grow, don't we? We give each other the
yeah,
atmosphere.
because they've seen you grow, they can push your buttons like nobody else can. They have like a special pass, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's like a remote control. Like, which button am I going to push today? This one.
I like this one. I'm going to push this one a lot.
But they're expanding. They're teaching you. But
Yeah.
the beauty of this time is you can pick your soul family. So maybe you get the love of a divine mother from somebody else.
Yeah.
And by the way, they don't have to look like a mother. Sometimes you get the love of a divine mother from a guy.
Yeah.
And I mean that in a way of everybody has masculine, feminine energy.
Mhm.
Everybody can nurture in different sort of ways.
Absolutely. It's so
I
neat
want to
to.
go. I want to go back to your story. How,
Oh,
if you're, and if let's say somebody came to you and they're going through something, they're struggling to be of this world. I really feel like a lot of people that are here right now don't feel like they belong because they're not supposed to. But if somebody came to you and were going through something, was going through a shift, what would your advice to them be? How would you guide them to be? Really, I guess is the best way of putting it.
so that's such a good question. And I feel we may be similar on this, is it's so individual. And also, I think the piece of advice I give the most is to show themselves kindness. I think we are so quick. We use analogies all the time, like you have to put on your own oxygen mask first. And we love to preach that. Like we as individuals preach it to everyone else. But I think often we as individuals are the first to forget, oh, yeah, that actually also applies to me. Like you and I were saying at the beginning, so many people are going through hard times. And I say how all of these hard things are going to happen, but wait, now it's affecting me. And so people come to me all the time in this type of situation, and just showing them love and allowing themselves to honor themselves and feel love for what they're experiencing and showing themselves so much grace is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice I give. And there's lots of ways we find what's going on. We, discover things that are held on or imbalances in their body that are preventing them from moving forward. But ultimately, if they can show themselves love and compassion, like I hear this on the other side, like, oh, I can show that to me. Of course you can. That voice in our head is always there. So if we can train that voice to show kindness and love, oh, to have a cheerleader instead of somebody who's always demeaning us, that's just, I think it's the most powerful thing, is just to have that love.
So beautiful. Sometimes we make life sound so simple. But
Right.
what if it is? You
Yeah.
know, we're trained to always put everybody else first.
Hmm.
And I feel like we've been pushed to put ourselves first. And it's not being selfish doing that, because when you put yourself first, your light becomes so much stronger. It becomes so much more visible. You become so much more of an example to others, and you yourself feel different. So it means you can show up in so many. It's just there's so many reasons to put you first. But I'd love for you to share, how are you putting you first? What does that look like for you?
That's a question that is it's very raw, I think, right now to me, because I have taught for a really long time. I don't love. I understand that 'tis better to give than receive. It's Christmas time. Like I understand in my brain the logic and the theory behind it. But I've taught for a really long time. It's equally as good to receive. I don't think one is better than the other, because if people are always giving, who's going to receive? And have you ever given a gift and someone wasn't a gracious receiver? So I've taught that for a long time. And only recently have I started to realize that it's more of something I preach and less of something that I practice. And so, Nimesh, what I have started to do is be a better receiver. When someone offers me time, when someone offers me you want to go hang out together? Let's go to the beach. Let's go for a walk. And if it's something I would enjoy, I receive it and I allow myself to receive it. And I'm working on not feeling guilty for that. I think at least in my age group, we came very much from people who felt guilty if there was anything they received that was good. And then maybe some people beyond me who sort of more believe it's their right. And so I'm in this middle ground of where do I fit and how important it is for me to show my children that it is like show them, not just tell them with my face, but show them that it is beautiful to receive and we don't have to feel bad when we enjoy something, that it's okay. So that's what I am actively working on right now is receiving graciously.
So beautiful, and thank you for sharing that. It's a raw. I feel the rawness of it, and honestly, I can relate. I love going out my way for people, and I do it. I've done a lot of work, and I do it because of how it makes me feel. Unapologetically, I'm not doing it for the other person. I'm doing it for me. But at the same time, who am I to deny that same blessing for somebody else? So, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely working on receiving more. And you talked about setting the example for our kids, right? I mean, I don't have any kids. I've 9 nephews, 3 nieces, and lots of other. But I love to set that example of, it's like some of them are older now, and it's like I've always been the one that spoils them, birthday presents, meals. We call it, football. In the US, you call it
Yeah.
soccer, but it's like taking them to that, and it's like concerts and whatever. And it's like I love doing it, but it's like they're at the age now when we go out for meals and stuff. They're like, "Well, no, let us pay," and we're like, it's weird for me because I'm always going to see them as little kids, right? I mean, it's just in my
Yeah.
head, even though they're like fully grown adults with good careers and they can definitely afford it. And I'm like, but yes, let people spoil you, let people go out of your way. It's so, so beautiful. And it's really enriching for you too.
It really isn't it? And if we can even just, I think, remember how good it felt for us to be able to do this for someone else and allow them that opportunity to do that for us. It feels good.
Yeah,
And it feels good. I'm sure you remember when you were talking about your nieces and nephews, how grateful they were to receive the gift that you were
100%.
giving. And how good it feels as the giver to have a gracious receiver. And so then
100%.
just practicing that thank you, I receive this. And in fact, I've started even saying it out loud so I can remind myself, thank you. I graciously receive this. I am so grateful for this. And that it just makes all of the difference, I think, to everyone
Yeah.
involved.
I mean, it's interesting. It's like, I guess a good question for our listeners is why do you give? Do you give because you expect to receive the same back? Do you give unconditionally? It's really hard to give unconditionally. I've done so much work on this. I don't give unconditionally, but I don't expect the same thing in return.
Mhm.
What I would like, I don't expect, is respect.
Yeah.
Gracious thank you. And if you do, you don't. If you do, I'm not. I'm not dependent on you being grateful for what I'm doing
Yeah.
because ultimately I'm doing it for me. And it's just, I mean, but you're so right. I mean, kids are so beautiful in terms. I mean, I used to, in the younger days, I used to get it. I wouldn't buy the birthday presents or even Diwali presents. I would get them together one time a year, send them all in a toy shop. They all have the same budget. Go and buy you a birthday. It might not be your birthday for a couple of months, but they used to love it. It's just like, obviously there'd be adult guidance in terms of depending the age groups, but it'd be like, within certain parameters, and they couldn't buy certain, but it's just like the joy in their eyes. It's like those are magic moments no one's ever going to take away.
Yeah. I remember a few months back, our oldest daughter is married and they have a baby. They have our first grandson. And my son-in-law was so excited. He said, "We're going to take you. We're going to spoil you to me." It's like, "That's what we're doing today."
Nice.
And my first reaction was, "No, no, 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 no. You're brand newly married. You have a baby." Like, of course, like all the reasons, all the
Yeah.
responsible reasons why they can't. And I felt it coming, and I think he did too because he looked at me and he just goes, "Nope, we're spoiling you today." And I thought, what a gift for me to
Yeah,
receive that and allow them because they wanted to. It was something that they talked about, they
yeah,
discussed. And so yeah, I think receiving is I don't know, maybe we can
yeah,
put that out as an invitation to all of the listeners because it is Christmas time. Be a really gracious receiver and just enjoy receiving. You don't
yeah,
have to not give, but enjoy receiving.
yeah. And honestly, Christmas I get can be a really lonely time, and
Mhm.
maybe you don't have anyone that can give something for you, but then allow the universe to do something.
Absolutely.
Maybe you're just walking on the street, somebody gives you a nice smile and says hello. Maybe you do that for somebody else,
Yeah.
and somebody smiles back. But what if it doesn't matter if they don't smile back? What if you're not triggered? Or what if you're not bothered if they smile? And that example you gave, the joy you receive by being spoiled, and the joy that your daughter and son-in-law, they had the opportunity to spoil you because they're grateful for you.
Yeah.
But it's so alien for us. It's like our whole programming says, no, we need to give. We need to put everybody else first. And Christmas is such an interesting time. It's like, oh my God, so much pressure to buy presents and whatever
Mhm.
else. It's like, it's what if it's a time to receive?
Yeah.
And how you receive, like I said, if you don't have anyone in your world to spend Christmas with, maybe it's a time to feel connected to your guides.
Yeah. And go back to that kindness and love for ourselves. Maybe that's the receiving.
Yeah,
But I allow myself to feel love and I can receive that. And I think, whether you spend Christmas with somebody or not, we can maybe practice that a little bit deeper is just showing that
yeah.
love and kindness to ourselves.
Maybe gift yourself something.
Mm, yeah.
Maybe just gift yourself a gift or a present, something that's going to lift your soul. Who knows?
Yeah.
So the question actually I'm being called to ask is, what would your guidance be? Because I talked about connecting with your guides, and what would your guidance be to someone who's trying to connect with their guides, the vibration around them, and feel the
Mm,
support and love from them? How would you guide them? What would your advice be?
mm. It's a great question. I think one of the first things is being open to it and allowing yourself the belief that you can also receive that and that it's not just for a select few, but it's for you as well. So almost taking down those walls and those beliefs maybe that it only happens for me if, and it will only happen for me when, but that it can happen right now. And then if you feel something, so I'm going to make a silly comparison because this helps me. My my sister and brother have decided if they think they see a celebrity, and they have. Because what's the difference? Like
Yeah,
there's no police out there being like, "Did you really?" Because I don't think you did. And so the advice along those lines is if you feel someone pop into your mind, in your heart, then you have. There's not somebody that's going to come along and say, absolutely, that was not who it was. You were wrong. Who are you to think that? Allow them in and allow yourself to feel them. And also be patient with yourself because sometimes there may be such an internal battle of whether or not you can or can't feel that that's so loud that it takes a little while for it to happen. So again, I guess back to this kindness with yourself. Believe that it can happen. And then if you think maybe it has, believe that it has and allow more of that.
nice. And it is a leap of faith. It is a trust,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like so often we love to test it. Oh my God, today. But it's like, and that's okay, by the way. It's okay to ask your guys to show
Oh
up
yeah.
in, but it's if you expect them not to show up, if you ask with the expectation that whatever you're asking for isn't going to happen, then your guys will be like, okay, so what you want is for this not to happen. So, okay,
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Not gonna
and
push you. Mhm.
yeah, and then the other thing is be open to magic happening in different ways. You ask for something, it may come in so many different forms. And what if our guides have something planned for us even more magical than we can even imagine? And that's the beauty of this journey. Is it's just letting go is such a big part of it, and just being.
It really is. It was neat when we were grounding. Even before you called everyone in, I just felt this zoom all around me of so much interest and care, and it's like, "Oh, what are you guys gonna talk about? This is gonna be so fun," but just everyone in as though you're all huddled around, I mean, I guess a phone or a computer looking at something beautiful, and everybody gets together and looks, and that's the energy that I felt just come in immediately, and I think, like you said, the more we call on it and the more we allow even the possibility of it, maybe it's not expecting, maybe it's just allowing the possibility of being able to see or feel something, and often, so my husband doesn't feel and see things the way that I do, but he'll smell things. He'll say, "It smells like this person." And he started to say, "If it smells like this person out of the blue, they're here." And that is how he feels it. And so I think we can all feel things very differently depending on where I am in the situation. Sometimes I feel it in my knees or sometimes in different body parts. Often I just get this image in my mind, like when we're having a thought of somebody so vividly that I just know that they're there. But there's so many different ways, and I think we can receive this as uniquely as all of us are. I think there are that many ways to feel and experience a guide or a spirit or an ancestor who's gone before us.
And it's, as you say, everybody's different. And sometimes it's our expectations of seeing things, hearing things. Maybe just start to feel
Yeah, absolutely.
and then take it from there. So beautiful. I love it. So I'd love to know what's coming for you. What are you working on? What are you excited about? What is that?
So what I'm excited about right now, and I've this has been in my heart for a long time, is a and the naming isn't there yet. I'm still working on it. Well, that's sort of true. It's actually a walk, pray, love experience is what it is. And it's gathering small groups of women together to experience really what our podcast has been about, to experience that love and kindness and time for them and filling up their cup in a way that maybe is different than they thought of before, so that then when they go back to air quotes the real world or their real life, they have something to draw upon, and also they know how to refill. I think we say really neat things like self-care and then we clap because that was such a good answer, but then we don't know what that means. What does self-care mean? And then we break it down so simply to mean it could be walking outside to your mailbox slowly and back in, and that is your self-care, and allowing people to realize that it could be a little bit simpler. You've said that a handful of times. What if it is that simple? And
Yeah,
then just arming them with these tools that are simple so that their lives can be better and they can return to their family, to their work, to their normal lives rejuvenated and ready to move forward. I think one of the challenges after a vacation is that we vacation so hard that we come back and we need a reset. And what I am looking to create and working on creating is a reset so beautiful that you go back recharged, that you don't need more. You may want more again another time, but it setting people up for success.
beautiful. Such a beautiful intention. I love it. And it's just, why do we vacation so hard? It's all, I mean, I have that. It's like when, right now, our ego, our energy, and everything we're going through is so intense. So when we're at home, we feel that intensity. It's like when we go on vacation, we visit somewhere different. Our energy is naturally different.
Mhm.
So if we start to recognize how our energy is shifting, maybe the highs and lows are not so intense, but
Mhm.
sometimes we need to change our orbit, our location to experience a new high, to go through a shift. So I
Mhm.
love that intention. I think it's really, really cool. So
You.
if somebody wanted to work with you, connect with you, what would that look like? How would they reach out? What would you want to share?
Awesome. So There's a handful of places. I have a website, sageenergyhealing.org. Also, my Facebook page, I'm really active, Sarah Park Verhoef. Um, and then, of
I
course, I'll
include
give
that in the
you
show notes
all
and
the
all
show
that.
notes. Yeah, all of
Yeah.
that. And then we connect through a phone call or a text. And we just start chatting and we look to see if we're a fit for one another. If my voice, I love how you said if my voice resonates with you and it seems like we could be a fit, then let's make it happen. And if not, perhaps I could guide you somewhere else because I don't ever believe in keeping someone captive just because they
Yeah.
found me. I love working with people who feel like, yeah, absolutely, it's the right fit, and then helping them with my network of people if someone else is the right fit.
Yeah. And that's so beautiful. I mean, I know that anyone that's assigned to me is going to find me.
Mhm.
But if they're not assigned to me, that's okay too.
Yeah, I think you
It's
really
just,
set me free in a podcast when you said that. Not everyone is assigned to me,
yeah.
and that set me free. It was beautiful. So
Yeah.
thank you, Nimesh, for
Oh,
saying
thank
that.
you. Thank you for being so open. Because that's the reality. It's like we feel what people are going through and we want to help everybody.
Yes, we do.
But it doesn't mean that we're meant to.
Yeah.
If you hold on to somebody that you're mentoring or guiding, but they're not assigned to yours, or maybe the work together is complete. What if you're stopping them finding the next person?
Yeah,
And
isn't that
there's
isn't
no
that
right or
beautiful?
wrong to it. There's no just because somebody's completed with you doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just means
Or yeah, it just means that okay, and next. I heard it. I love it put that way, and also that if we think that we need to have everyone for ourselves, then it's not even good for the economy, right?
no,
Because
100%.
there are new people learning new things that are maybe the right person for this person. So I think it's just so beautiful. Like you said,
Yeah.
there's more collaboration and community now, um, where before it was so much sort of competition, and now it's a lot more collaboration, which is so beautiful.
And ultimately, it's a soul contract.
Mhm.
It's something you feel, not think. And it's like,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
advice to anyone that's listening: if you are looking for somebody, then what's your intention with it? It's like you can do lots of research online, and I'll always say that when we have a question, a lot of time we'll go and look externally, we'll Google it. Now we've got to ask ChatGPT, right? Oh my God, we've got to.
Mhm.
But it's like we've got to ask ourselves first. So, what's your intention with working with them? How do they make you feel?
Yes.
And that's where you get your answers. Because if your intention is to be fixed, or if you look at somebody, it's like, oh my God, I want to really work with this person because this person worked. That's the wrong. How do they
Mhm.
make you feel?
Absolutely.
And it's from there you get honestly, Sarah's such a beautiful soul. If her voice resonates, her energy or vibration, then please do reach out. And so,
Thank you.
Sarah, as we close, I'd love for you to share anything that's in your heart, any guidance, advice, any general prompts, anything you want to share with this community. I'd love for you to share whatever's in your heart.
So it's interesting. Thank you for allowing me this, and thank you for this beautiful conversation that we've had. And thank you to all your listeners for listening. It was interesting because this is what just came to my mind, and I felt it so big. So this is what I'm going to share: is that you're not stuck if you've committed to something and now it no longer serves you. Move along. I think that one of the things that holds us back is that, for example, if you got your hair cut somewhere and it was wonderful for a long time and now it isn't anymore, it's okay to change. And it's okay to do that with anything that you need. It's okay to be happy. It's okay to feel happy for feeling happy, to receive that love and to show yourself such love and kindness. And you're not stuck. You're not broken. You're here for a reason. You're important and you're so, so loved. And so find someone who helps you to remember that, to feel that love, whether it's Nimesh, whether it's myself, whether it's your mom, your friend, your God, yourself. Find that love again because you are so beautiful and absolutely worth it.
I love that. You're so beautiful and you're absolutely worth it. It's just, when you talk about being stuck, the phrase that always comes to mind, it makes me smile, is if you're feeling stuck, then move. You're not a tree.
Yeah, I love that.
You know what I mean? It's just like,
You're not a move. You're not a tree. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, I
just
love that.
move.
I'm
Yeah.
saying it now. I'm saying it now. Thank you.
I, I'm sure somebody famous said it much better, but it's like, it's so, we get so used to being in the space.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a natural, just move, just do something different.
Oh, I
So,
love it. I love it so much. That's my favorite thing to do is to move. If I can share a quick, silly story, but we live in Florida, so we're very close to Disney World, and I was with my kids. We're standing in line, and they were kind of arguing and being grumpy, and so I thought of this silly scene from Dumb and Dumber. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I have seen.
They're riding in this car, and they're kind of bored because they're on a long road trip. And all of a sudden, Lloyd Christmas just starts running, just like moving his arms. And he says, it feels like you're running at an incredible speed. And so I started doing that in the line at Disney. Of course, my kids thought I was insane, but it just made me think of what you just said. If you feel stuck, move. We felt like we weren't moving, we weren't progressing. And so I got silly and there was movement and then we laughed and it was so fun. We're not a tree, move. You don't have to stay stuck. Oh, I love it so much. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, Sarah, thank you for being on this podcast. Thank you for being part of my journey. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. And like I was saying, you're a beautiful writer. So, you're such, just, I love how open you are to feedback and to receive and then to give it back. So thank you for being here. Thank you for shining your light. And to our listeners, it's an interesting time of the year. It's just, can be the most loving or the most lonely period. My best advice to you would be to look for what you need inside of you. It's like when we look externally for the love and expectations and the pressure of this period of time. But if you could just stop, breathe, and feel the love you have for you inside, the love around you, maybe that's enough. Sending everyone so much love and light. Sarah, thank you for being. I'm going to hand over to you to say any final words.
Thank you for having me here. And one of my favorite things is at the end of a yoga practice, I've heard over and over, the love and light inside of me honors the love and light inside of you. And please know, if you're listening to this podcast, that both Nimesh and I absolutely honor the love and light inside of each one of you. We're so honored to be on this journey with you.
Thank you. So beautiful. Sending love and light to everybody. We'll be back soon. Bye for now.